Welcome to the tote bag weave along. We're ready to warp. I'm going to warp on my dining room table. So I've got my warping peg clamped to this end of the table and the loom is clamped to this end of the table. Now this length is a little bit longer than our project's going to be, but that's okay because this is the length that is easiest for me to do because of this table size. So before we start the process, I just wanted to show you my reed setup. What I've got here is I've marked every 10 slots. I just find that useful because then for each project you don't have to count each slot individually. You can count them by groups of 10. It's easier to find where you are. And then for this particular project, I've counted out all the slots we need, which is 62 slots because we're having 124 ends. And I've marked that with a different coloured thread here and here. So I know that I'm to start threading through this one first, and then I'm going to move my way along right to the other end. So starting at this end, which for me is the right hand side, it really doesn't matter which side you start, I just always seem to prefer to start on the right hand side. We'll take our yarn and drop it to the floor. Pick up your apron rod and bring the yarn underneath and simply tie it in a double knot. Okay, now we're going to take that piece we've got there, grab your reed hook, and that first slot that we've marked there, we're going to take the yarn through. And I'll show you what that looks like really close up. So we've hooked that through, and now we're just going to let the yarn unravel as we gently place it over this hook. Then we come back to the loom again. Once we're back at the loom, we're left with our yarn looking like this. So we've got 2 threads through one slot so far, and we're left with this one hanging down that's joined to the ball on the floor. So what we're going to do is simply reach around and take that one through the next slot. And once again, we take it to the warping peg and gently place it on there. So now we're back at the loom again. You might have noticed last time we reached under and took the yarn from that side, but this time the yarn is under. So we're going to reach in from this side so that the yarn goes over the bar. And you'll find that each time you come back to the loom, you'll either go under or over. So we go through again with the reed hook to the next slot. Once again, putting 2 threads through the one slot. So we've done 3 slots now, we've got 6 ends. Once you understand that part, the rest is just repetition. Going through each slot and returning to the peg, looping it over and coming back. And this time the thread is under, so I'm bringing it over. This time the thread is over the bar, I'm bringing it under the bar. And that's just a logical sequence that continues to repeat. Now, I said before about putting your yarn on the warping peg to place it on gently. That's because, especially with wool, which I am using, it has some elasticity. If I pull on this and make it really tight, so all these threads are really tight, it might snap my peg off the table, which has happened to me before. And also you just don't really need the tension at this point. You're going to provide the tension when you start winding on the warp. So I'm going to keep going right across the loom to my other marker here, repeating the same sequence, and when you come to one of these plastic bits here, you just go around it, just work around it. Apron tie, that's called, not plastic bit. This is actually not bad exercise once you get really fast at it and going back and forth. So I'll meet you on the other side. Here's a little tip. I've just run out of yarn as I'm going across the warp. I'm almost there, but I'll need to join in a new ball. This is a really simple thing. You just knot off the one that's ended, just here with a double knot. And then just repeat what you did at the start. Take your fresh ball, find the end of your fresh ball, there we go. Drop it to the floor, knot that on. And away you go again, just keep threading. There we go, I've reached the other side now, to my marker on the other side. So I'm just going to cut that and do once again a double knot.